Today I'm going to show you something different, something I like to call glove deboning a chicken. Now, well, everyone calls it glove deboning a chicken. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm sitting here down and all you can see is my head. Now, I'm not trying to be a jack-in-the-box, but what I am trying to do is I'm going to show you a close-up. So what you're mainly going to see is my hands and the chicken. So, enjoy. Later on in another show I'll show you how to actually what to do with the chicken once you've glove deboned it. But let's start. Foot down, foot the board. Now you can use two types of knives, a paring knife or a turning knife. Now I like to use a turning knife because of the rounded edge. Now what you're going to do is, now I know this chicken looks a bit taken apart. What you're going to do is you're going to start off on this side, open it up, and you're going to get in there, cutting. Stay as close to the bone as you possibly can. Break through the bones here that belong to your legs, that one, your leg, and carry on cutting. And you cut through the top, and best thing to do is stand it up like this. And as you'll notice is, as you start to cut, she'll come down. See? You cut as close to the bone as you possibly can, whilst carefully bending it outward. Now the problem is you don't want to damage any of the outside, because you want it to stay as one piece, i.e. glove debone. So make sure you cut out all the bones and loosen all the bones that have got to do with the legs, the wings. You want to make sure that they still stay intact there, because we're going to deal with those a little later. So once I get to this part, so I've got right to the end here, you're left with the carcass. Now this part we're not going to throw away, because this will make a beautiful stock. So now what you'll notice is, so my chicken's got no insides basically. So what you're going to want to do is get a pair of scissors. First things first, you're going to want to cut off this. Nice thing about cutting off this is that you've got some, break it, you've got for your chicken wings. So you can make something out of those. Make sure you get between the two bones. Look at that, cut out. Now those you can also use for your stock, unless you want to actually roast them off. I mean, if you're making a lot, it's worth it. But if you're only making for one chicken, I mean really, then I just use it in the stock. It's got lots of gelatin in it. That's what you really want. Now before I turn it inside out, I'm going to also want to cut this. See, yeah, you're going to cut the top off that, so you're cutting through the skin and all the sinews, so otherwise you're not going to get that, otherwise it's not going to come apart. I'm going to do that on both sides. Cut that through. Make sure you get through all those sinews, because if you've got any sinews left, they're going to give you lots of trouble. Right, now's the part where we're going to turn this baby inside out. Ooh, look, wishing bone. Yeah! Left hand wins. Right, you're going to have a look at this here. You're going to see I've got that, the wing. So what I'm going to do is slowly cut around the wing, right? Now use your hands and your knife. You must basically get in there with your fingers. This is a dirty job. This is like I'm really passionate about cooking type of job. You can also, if you've got a local butcher, you can also maybe go and ask them to do it for you. I don't think they'll be as careful as you could be. But you know that if you do this often and you practice, I mean, this can go very quickly. Get your finger, make sure you get through all, because the thing is what's holding the everything together is basically the sinews. So once you've got your sinews cut, this job becomes very easy. I mean, you just want to get that bone out of there. There. Once I got, the nice thing about doing this, I know it looks like a bit of a schlep and it's quite time consuming, but think about it, you can roast a whole chicken and have no bones in it. I mean, how nice would that be? You serve a evening chicken roast and no bones. And then we cut off, see? Cut that last bit off there. There it is. Bones out. Put that also for your stock. Now you have to grab the next leg. Do exactly the same thing as you did on that leg. Do exactly the same thing to your thigh and your leg. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that skin off. So you're going to pull it out slightly like that. You want to be careful with the skin. You don't want to damage the skin. Cut down where you know the thigh bone is, and get to the joint. Doesn't really matter too much. You just don't damage too much of the meat. Once you've gotten it, put your finger through, right? Give it a bit of a yank. If there's a bit of meat on this, just make sure you cut it off. You don't want to be wasting anything. So you're gonna, and then you just put it aside, because that you can just stuff in at the end. Get it. Now the thing about deboning chickens is you must break the bones. Not the bone, you're basically dislocating it. So then what you do is cut out that bone. And add it to your stock. See? Thigh bone out. This one is a bit more difficult because you're going to want to try and get it out without damaging too much of. Remember, you don't want to damage the outside. The outside is what's holding your whole chicken together. So you must still be careful when using your knife. Cut down a bit there. See there, cutting it open. So I can expose that joint. Because once I expose that joint, it's going to work the same as the other one. I just have to loosen all the tendons. Make sure I don't have the cartilage there. And watch here. Bloop. There it is. Out. Now remember to double check here. Because sometimes what happens is you're left with the cartilage inside. You don't want to be left with the cartilage. Some people like eating cartilage. I ain't like eating cartilage. Also make sure that you've got all the bones out. See, there's another bone just there. Dig your knife under that. Just cut it out. See? Now look at that. It's a boneless chicken. No bones. There's your breasts. There's your thighs. Now what you're going to do is, just to finish it off, to get to the point of having to either stuff it or utilize it, you're going to take all these parts that you've cut out, and you're going to push them inside. And that was inside, that leg was inside, that leg inside. So basically what you ended up with is a long piece of chicken that, as you'll notice, there is skin's intact, skin's intact. Now, boom! That's how you do it. Now it's done. So, later on you'll see how I'm going to use this to make a wonderful roasted chicken.